soon to be over. Sorry, YouTube, but we're going to Periscope.
Yeah. Ready?
Yep.
Go time.
What's up, everybody? The Life on Life's Terms podcast, and I'm Tom Robinson. And like I always say, we're not affiliated with any 12-step program, although we do enjoy them.
I'm Chris Mandeville. I am a recovering heroin addict. We are here at a New Way Recovery Center. Tom forgets that every week.
Me too. I'm a recovering heroin addict as well.
We're at a New Way Recovery Center in Quincy, Mass. on Quincy Ave. If you are in the area, you're looking for resources, this is definitely a good place to come and check that out. They have lots of meetings here during the day as well. Hey, Sarah. She's going to be our guest next week.
Nice.
So, yes, LOLTerms.com. Like, subscribe.
Please share this podcast.
Yes, please share this podcast now if you can. That would be great. Would really appreciate that. Yeah. Tonight we have a friend of mine. His name's Mitch Conley, and he's here to share his experience, strength, and hope with us. And
thanks for coming, Mitch.
Yeah. No problem.
I'd like to tell you a couple things.
Oh, yeah, and one thing. Congrats to Tom. Tom has 14 years today. Big shout out.
Thank you.
Fuck what you heard. I love PT.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say a couple things. Like, congratulations to my cousin Ethan. He had a baby boy today.
Oh, congrats, Ethan.
I think he just got 10 years himself.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. He was like a baby-faced Nelson when I met him, and then I just seen him not too long ago, and he looks exactly the same.
Yeah,
youngster.
But and his mother's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Ethan's mom.
So big day. A lot of good things. And it's just like it always makes me think, like, anniversaries and stuff. Life is just short. Life is short.
Yeah.
Life is sweet. Time just goes by so fast. And I have to say that the fastest I've ever lost time in my life was the 10 years that I shot heroin.
Oh, yeah. Active addiction.
It was
flies.
It's like I blinked. I was just like chasing a high, and I blinked, and I was in my 30s.
Yep.
It's like, whoa, what just happened?
Yep.
You know? But it's been a lot better since.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Since then.
All right. So let's go, Mitch.
Let's go.
Let her rip.
Ready, go.
Ready. I feel like we should make like a rap video. You know what I mean?
I'm on a boat.
You know what I mean?
I'm on a boat.
I've never been in front of the camera like this before.
Oh, we could do a podcast on a boat.
Yeah. Boats and hoes. I'm Mitch Conley, drug addict, alcoholic. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes. I know it took a while.
It did.
I had asked you a while ago.
Life gets busy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, life changes.
It's really busy, yeah.
No, grateful to be on here with you guys. You know what I mean? It's been a long journey to get to this point where I'm at.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I watched a lot of it.
You did. That Rockland Young People bathroom.
Yes.
We became very good friends for a long time. You know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. There was a point in time where the pastor said you need to go in the bathroom at the end of the meeting and check for whatever. Yeah, because
I see.
There was all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I didn't
I've been there myself.
Right. You
I
kept showing up.
To show up to meetings, and
I don't know if I can do that, bro. Honestly, like if I'm using, I think that's gonna be the last place I want to be. But
yeah,
I don't have that experience.
Right.
Like I'm here since I got here.
Right.
Thank God. Thank God.
For me, it was like I wanted to be sober so bad.
Yeah.
But I tried so many different avenues, so many different ways.
Yep.
I tried the meetings. I tried the halfway houses. I tried the jails.
Did you used to get jealous of the cake?
I used to get jealous of people at the end of the meeting that would say, "And we're all going out to eat after this," and I'd be like,
"Oh yeah."
First of all, A, what's it like to eat? And B, how do you have money to go out to eat? Because
I'm living off fudge rounds and nutty bars.
You know what I mean? I'm like, my food's in the center console in my car right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be eating for a couple weeks.
Yep. It's sad, but it's true.
It is 100%. And you know, like you said, you watched me for a while, Chris, and it was a long journey. I started this thing at a very young age. You know, I put opiates into my body at probably 16, 17 years old.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't even. What chance does the psyche of a 16-year-old kid have against the fucking power of the addiction of opiates?
And that's why I'm going to give a shout out to my friend John and Sarah Green over at No First Time, where they're going into the middle schools.
I'll tell you,
so that like kids don't use for the first time.
My God, that is such important work.
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking about somebody who's probably confused about life, not necessarily.
Their son started at 15
life.
and he was dead by 19.
Yeah.
You know,
my God.
I mean,
sad.
I had a Percocet habit by the time I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll never forget the day my dad got reconstructive surgery on both his ankles and both his hands. And I went into the cabinet one day just like being a nosy 16-year-old kid.
Yep.
Opened it up and there was a script, and my dad couldn't take them because he would get sick from them.
Oh, yeah.
So they were
regular
there.
Percocets.
Yeah,
yes.
they were there.
Yep.
And I remember taking them.
Some people had a reaction to all the Motrin or acetaminophen, whatever was in it.
And my reaction was like,
yes.
Let's go.
Listen,
my reaction was
for a long time above the Alumni Cafe in Quincy, there was a billboard that said "The monster is in your medicine cabinet."
Yeah.
And when I was active, dude, I was a painter, so I'm going in people's houses and like I'd be in the medicine cabinet, like, oh man, and like. I got some years now, and I still do that just to see how fucked up people are. It's like, oh, yep, they got anxiety, they got depression. You know, what I mean?
Stay away from them.
Yes.
Make sure I get paid, and
Yes.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. I was working with a guy one time, and we went in someone's house, and we were talking about money or whatever, and she's got this fat Figaro gold chain on the island, and he was like, "Ma'am, you shouldn't leave that around." And I'm like, motherfucker, like, what are you saying about the guys that you work with? Like, dude, you just put us all on blast. Because, you know, he was thinking about taking it.
How can you not when you're looking at a gold chain like that?
Right.
Well, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think that it's more. It's going to change. You do something like that. That's an extreme example, but even a small example changes how you're going to think about yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
If you're not the type of person who's going to do something like that, you can respect yourself for being not that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's more important to be able to respect yourself than, you know, a little come up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, I think that's one of the only things that we have to this day now is our word on what type of person we are.
Yeah.
You know
what
I mean? And
Exactly.
carrying ourselves in a sense of demeanor that people are going to respect because of, you know, what your actions portray.
Man of dignity and honor is what I want.
And let's not say that always happens in recovery.
Right.
You know
No.
what I mean? I fall short so many times, so many
everybody
different
falls short.
areas.
You
know what I
just
mean?
just ask the people close to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're the ones that take the brunt of it because they know we're in recovery. They understand. You know what I mean? Like, that's who I have trouble being, you know, practicing these principles in all my affairs to the people that are very close to me.
Right.
You know, like a sponsee or someone in a meeting or someone that needs help, like, absolutely, 100%. I'm like, you know, good guy. But when you know, it comes to the people close to me, that's when I can turn into a dickhead.
And that's where you need to. That's where your actions need to portray the most.
Right.
You know what I mean?
At home.
After how many times I can sit there and look at all the times I tortured my mother, and then my mother asked me to like shovel the driveway after I was out plowing for the last like 22 hours, and I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I you know, the worst thing that I do is I can get in the habit of using anger, you know, as like a defense mechanism or whatever, you know, and that's you know, that's where I fall short is when I get angry.
Yes.
And anger's an ugly thing.
Absolutely.
It comes from fear.
Yeah, it all comes from fear, but we're not going to tell you that.
Right.
No way.
Not at the time.
No way.
I'm not afraid. I'm angry.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
And it comes off as anger because we're so damn scared.
Scared of like being, you know, having injustice done to us, not getting our due, having somebody think we're not something that we're not, or whatever, what people think.
Yeah, fear of what people think. So, practice that habit at 15, 16?
15, 16 years old. Yeah, it's crazy, right? And like that started deciphering out my friends. Right.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you have to set up a criteria for the people you hang out with.
Right.
It's like,
And now throw this in as a kicker was my brother brought home a state championship for starting quarterback. And my father is like, that's his limelight,
Yes.
And I'm sitting there with like an OC habit and trying to make a name for myself, trying to, and I just didn't want it. I didn't want it, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I wrestled, and I played football, and you know what I mean. I was decent. I was just like a little menace running around.
Right. But had the perks or whatever not been there.
Oh, I mean, by my junior year, I can remember before a football game, I must, you know what I mean, couple perk 30s, 200-300 milligrams of Adderall, some cocaine. I would drink a little.
Yeah,
and I would go play football.
Yeah, right. And like I tell kids this today. Like, listen, any interest that you have in anything, when you pick up, just forget about it because it's gonna go out the fucking window.
Right.
Yeah.
You may still participate for a while, but
sure,
it's gonna be gone.
I remember after I was in Turnabout with you, like when I was in Turnabout with you, I was down in the weight room all the time with George, and I mean, I was getting in good shape, and then like I was like, well, I'm gonna stay sober, even though I relapse, I'm gonna get back on the ball, and I'm still gonna go to the gym. And I'm at the gym, fucking nodding out on the fucking machines and shit.
See, I've never been like a big gym guy. You know what I mean?
Me either. Dude, the first time I had a gym membership, I was in my 40s.
Right, like I've tried like one significant.
I didn't until I was in my later 30s or
like something significant happens in my life. I'm getting back in the gym. Getting back in the gym.
Yep.
It phases out about 3 days. I'll go to the store, spend $300 on good food. I'll go to the gym. Still
protein.
To this day, I own 2 gym memberships. Don't use the gym at either one.
Yeah.
But I continue to pay for them.
Right.
One I use for my daughter for a pool, you know what I mean? But the other one is like, I don't even understand why I have this fucking thing.
But as soon as you cancel it, you're going to want to go.
Right.
I can't cancel it. I might want to go.
Right, exactly. The fear.
Yeah, fear of it not being there at the time, when you want it. So getting all banged up playing football.
Yeah. Went to my first Busta Rhymes concert. Just made captain for wrestling. And go to a Busta Rhymes concert and get banged up at the concert. Probably 100 yards away from my house, I get pinned with a DUI.
Oh.
On a school night.
How old?
18. Oh, 17. 17.
Wow.
I was just about to enlist into the Marines. So, like, right from the jump, though, like, I will say, like, I set my priorities and myself low. Like, I knew that high school wasn't the thing for me.
Yeah.
So I opted out at, like, a freshman year, and I was like, I'm going to join the military.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. I'll finish this and
I'll go into the military's. D stands for diploma. I'll be good to go.
Yeah.
And when I got arrested for my DUI, it was they basically told me, they're like, listen, you're going to go on probation, so that would extend me. And the Marines came back, and they're like, we're not taking you. And it was an ex-Marine that arrested me. And I said, listen, I'm like literally enlisting in the next week or so. And he was like, no go.
Yeah.
So
you're not the type we want.
Yeah, which was shocking to me because it was like I thought that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was socially accepted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A Dewey at 17, that's socially accepted.
You know,
yeah.
So dude, I do the next best thing, and I go into the Army.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
And, the Army accepted you where the Marines didn't.
They're which was shocking to me.
The few and the proud, right?
And I remember this like it was my family didn't come and see me, right? This is why like I truly believe, you know, even in my darkest of times, like there is a God, because my family didn't come see me because I just did a burglary right down the street on a neighbor's house, right?
Yeah.
And my mother and my 2 brothers, they wouldn't come and see me, and my dad came and saw me when I was leaving for Savannah, Georgia, and it was probably 15 minutes before my flight. Now, mind you, I'm in the hotel room the whole night getting banged up.
Oh yeah.
Like I went I went down to boot camp with a screaming habit. Screaming habit. Savannah, Georgia in August. You know what
nice.
I mean? And my father comes walking out, and he comes in and he tells me he's proud of me, and I see him. And I didn't know at the time, but that was going to be the last time I ever saw my dad.
Whoa, no kidding. Wow.
And like he made it a point to come and see me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hold the mic a little bit closer.
And
there you go.
He came and saw me, and he said, I'm proud of you, Mitch, and hopefully you go do your thing and make us proud. And you know, I finished boot camp, and I'm getting ready for advanced infantry training, and I get the news. I get a phone call that my father passed away. And I go home, and I have the good friends that I have, and they picked me up at Logan Airport with plenty of favors. Yeah, and I went home for 6 days, and I was numb, and I was you know, I was emotional. I was young. I was 18 years old. I just lost like the only guy in my life, and
tough. That's a rough hit.
It was. It tortured me. You know what I mean? But one thing I will, through this time of like getting sober and stuff, is I used it as a complete excuse.
I got a very like similar situation, not enlisting or anything, but active heroin addict. My mom goes into a rehab hospital for breathing stuff. You know, she was in the hospital, and then they sent her over to the rehab. I just got high one night. She calls me on the phone. I'm like, Ma, can I talk to you tomorrow? Can I talk to you later? Little did I know it was the last time I'd ever be able to talk to my mother. She ended up dying the next day. I get a phone call in the morning, sick as a dog. You might want to come up to the hospital. Your mother's not doing good. And I get up there. I walk into the room. The doctor like yells in her ear and says, Diane, your son's here. She opened her eyes, looked at me for a second, and then closed them, and that was the last time she ever opened her eyes. And I sat there for hours and hours and hours watching her like guppy breathe like a fish out of water. And family came in, you know, the whole nine. Everyone's in the room. She ends up passing away. The family goes out of the room to, you know, grieve or whatever. I go right in her purse and take all her pills, like, because I was sick. Right. You know, up there.
I mean, that's so what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, that's the shit that we do.
Yeah, well, I think that the dope sick, you know, they say it's like the flu or whatever, but the problem is it affects the mind too. You know what I mean? You will do almost anything.
You don't give a shit about anybody, not even yourself. You don't care about nothing. Nothing. It's getting the next one. That's all that matters.
Because you're just desperate. When you're sick, you just don't want to be sick so bad.
Yep, that's why I ran from the cops every single time, because I didn't want to be sick. Yeah. It's not about getting in trouble. It's about I was going to be dope sick. You know?
Yeah.
So,
but that's a brutal thing at 18 years old.
Yeah. So you're down in Savannah. Your dad passes away.
I come home. I do my thing. I go back, and I come down with orders to go to South Korea, and I'm the only one out of probably like 260 something kids.
Wow.
And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, South Korea. And I probably, at this point in my life, I look back at it, and I made probably, if not one of the biggest mistakes of my life. They came up to me, and they said, hey, listen, we know your father just died, and we will we'll ship you off to Fort Drum, New York, in the 10th Mountain Division, which is 7 hours away from Foxborough, where I grew up.
So,
and you can see how this played out. Every weekend, coming home, every weekend, doing the thing, every weekend. And by the time I know it, I'm like a little over a year and a half. I don't even remember. And I'm getting kicked out of the military, and I caught a case up in New York and went away for a little while.
But do you think that you might have used in Korea anyway?
I mean, I was at that point. Yeah. I mean, I look back at it, right? And I thought, like, what we were supposed to do in the military was this, and that. And, like, my mind was so different than everybody else's. It was like, let's go. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And I had one friend. I remember I had more than one. I had this kid. He's from Georgia. And he put me on to a whole new level of drinking. I think we had like a calendar sitting in there, and I think we were literally drinking. It was called Military Special. It was $9.99 a gallon, and we would chase tap water because we had no money, and we probably went like 100 days straight.
Really?
And I'm talking wake up in the morning, slam back 4 or 5 shots before a 5-10 mile run.
So what you're saying is you thought that that's what everybody did in the military.
And then like I started looking at all the people that were actually progressing in the military.
Yeah.
And they weren't doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. You get the kid from Foxborough all banged up.
You know, drinking Military Special. It tastes like gasoline. Literally tastes like gasoline.
And where'd you get it from, the PX?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was so bad, and I would sit there with the faucet, and I'd be like, "This is great." Sit there with the faucet, no food, no nothing.
Yeah,
you know
liquid diet.
Oh, you know what it's like drinking 5-6 shots of that thing, going for like a 5-10 mile run. You're like, "What am I doing with my life?"
Yeah, right. But if at the time it was probably great, or so you thought.
At the time, I loved it. You know what I mean? At the time, I was just like. I'm like, there's nothing better than this right now. You know what I mean? At the time, I didn't even understand. I didn't even know where I lived in so much like self-delusion and what my life was supposed to look like and where I was supposed to be. And I was just shot from such a young age.
Yeah.
You know, like drugs and alcohol came into my life and like I ran with it.
Yeah, they took over. They molded everything, all your decision making.
Yeah,
right.
You think they stole a good chunk of your childhood,
right? And that's the thing that I had to finally come and realize was like, I set my standards for my life so low,
so early,
yeah. And that's the part that I like regret a lot around. Like I look at all these kids that I went to high school with and. None who would care for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all these kids are doing all these great things, and this is, and I'm finally just starting to start my life at the age of, you know, fucking 24, whenever I got sober.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a tough pill to swallow.
Absolutely.
You know, like
and like I'm the same way. Like I got into that stuff. I wouldn't say early, because I don't think I did any, like. Coke or anything like that till I was, I think, like 19. But I ended up, you know, going on a heroin tear and getting sober, and then, you know, I got, you know, a good chunk of years, and now all the people that I hung out with are getting into it, and they've like established themselves. They have families, they have careers, they have houses, and now they're losing everything. I just never got anything to lose. I just couldn't get there. You know what I mean? I screwed it up before I even got to it. You know,
like, you know, it's bad. Like this is when I came to the realization. So like, if we were to fast forward through it all, right? Like, heroin and cocaine become my main choice of drugs.
Yep.
I go through up and down spirals, so many sober houses, halfway houses, the whole nine. And I remember, like, when I was finally starting to get this thing on track, tried different states getting sober.
Yeah.
And I went
states.
I went to work on a Friday up in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
And I was relocating back home to Foxborough for the first time, and I don't know, I didn't live in Mass for a fucking couple years at this point, and I was able to fit everything in my car that I owned.
Yeah.
So I went to work on a Friday, packed my car up, moved back home, and then went to work on Monday with the same company. I just transferred over to the Massachusetts division.
Yeah.
And like, that was like the reality of
your entire life fit in a car.
In a fucking Honda Accord.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think it was a Saab, a red Saab. Thing was sick. It had a turbo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had a turbo.
That's crazy.
It is. And I look back at that moment, and it was like, dude, I finally believe in my heart that I got sick and tired of like restarting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was one of your pain points.
I was like, dude, I can't keep doing this. And I can't, and I think a big part to do with that was, right, like I always share this story when I speak because it's one of the most vivid memories in my life, to be honest with you, was I came home on a weekend, right, and I come home on a weekend and I walk into the house, and this was after a relapse up in Portland, Maine. I'm living in New Hampshire now, and I come home to come see my ma, and I hear Frank Sinatra playing on the radio. I walk in, there's a bottle of wine sitting there, right? So I know my mom's having a good Friday night, right?
Yeah,
She's normal, she can do that. Yeah. And I come walking out back, and I haven't talked to her at this point since I just relapsed, overdosed, and caught a case in 6 hours up in Portland, Maine. And
oh my God.
Yeah, like literally got high, got arrested, overdosed, and then had my buddies drive me to New Hampshire the very next day. And I had like probably like over a year sober, a suspect year sober.
Yeah.
It was a suspect. Yeah. And I walk out back, and my mother's sitting there, and she's like, "You ready to talk?" And I said, "I'm ready to talk." And not by any means did I say I was ready to make an amends to her, because I wasn't, and I still haven't made that amends almost 4 years into this. You know what I mean? That's one that I think time's gonna show her. You know, and she looked at me and she said, "Mitch, like, whether you choose to be part of this family or not, like, I'm gonna be okay." And like right then and there, I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yep.
Like, my mother's literally sitting there telling me that she's willing to disown me from this family because she no longer can deal with my bullshit,
right?
And she has to move on with her life.
Yeah.
So
like,
if I can't get
do what you gotta do,
right.
I'm gonna do me,
right?
And I'll be okay no matter what.
And
so
like, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And I'm the baby.
Like, yeah.
I got 2 older brothers.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest.
That's another one of those points that where you stop for a minute and make you pause.
Yeah.
Right.
Moment of clarity.
Yeah. Moment of clarity. Yeah.
And you're just like.
And I remember I called my sponsor, and I said, "What the fuck do I do here?" And I'll never forget his response. He said, "Let the love ooze out of you, Mitch." And I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" I'm like, "Are you serious right now? That's
your answer?
Shit you're gonna hit me with?
That's your answer, really?
What the hell does that mean?" You know what I mean? Like, I don't even understand what that means. And what I think he meant at the time was like, dude, feel this. Feel this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Allow yourself to feel this for the first time.
That's
Allow
valuable,
yourself to
sure.
like sit there and know, like, dude, like, this is how much pain and torture you've caused your family.
Yeah.
You know?
They're willing to write feelings off for you.
Right?
I had a similar moment. My grandmother, who raised me a lot with my mother, you know, like a mother, and I lived with off and on. It was always like I go back to her house, you know, on a run or whatever, go back to her house. She says, "I can't watch," she over the phone, and I was in a holding, "I can't watch you do this to yourself anymore. You can't come back here anymore." It was the same type of thing, you know. It was like a separation.
Yeah.
Like, I need to protect myself from you.
Yeah, it's set boundaries. Setting boundaries.
Boundaries.
You know,
like,
something I struggle with.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, it just makes it a little real.
Yeah.
Right? You know.
It's like that, you know, that's the shit that you see in the interventions, you know, like, this is our bottom line.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, either you go to treatment and do what you need to do, or, you know, because we
kick rocks.
We talk about it all the time, like, we think we're only hurting ourselves, man, and that's such bullshit.
Oh, my God.
Like, we destroy, like, segue into...
Right. Yeah, I mean, so, like, you know, fast forward like a little while now, and I'm sitting there, and you know, I kind of got involved with this, like, it was a smaller nonprofit at the time up in Portland, Maine. It was called the Family Restored, and what they do is they offer scholarships to 12-step treatment. But also what they do is they run you know, they started family meetings for parents of drug addicts and alcoholics,
right?
And
who do not have to be
right
in recovery,
right? And what that means is, like, hey, listen, we know we get faster a lot quicker than you guys do, so we want to bring you through the work the same way we went through the work, so you can finally get some relief in your life. You know what I mean? And you know, I was lucky enough to, I was probably like fucking 7 months sober at the time, and I got a meeting started up in Stoneham, which absolutely took off. Absolutely took off. I'm talking, at one point in that meeting, there was probably over 100 parents. You know, my good buddy Eddie McGrath came in on me, and our good friend Ashley, and since then, Eddie took over that meeting, it has continued to bring families through the steps.
Yeah,
and
this is the families.
Yeah. So the families. So what it looks like is the families will come in. They'll check in with us if there's anything that they need to discuss. That's definitely need to get off their chest. Then we let them have it, and it's all right. Like, we don't force the 12 steps down anybody's throat. But if you want to get well and you want to go through this work the same way we did, at 7:30 we separate from the group and we go through the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and then we get you right in the 4th step.
That's so like, people have no cool idea. People have no idea.
And I think it's been a real game changer.
I'm surprising that they're willing to do all that work.
Oh,
and Jimmy Bradley said to remind you that you had a plan.
Yeah, Jimmy.
And that you're too scared to follow through?
No, he just it's Jimmy Bradley being Jimmy Bradley.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right. He was one of our early guests.
Yeah, he was actually, because I was telling him I was coming on this today, and he actually got upset because you guys didn't film him when you guys first did his one.
We weren't going live.
You guys weren't going live.
Right.
Jimmy's very self-seeking, so he likes to.
We'll do Jimmy again.
Yeah, we can have a part.
We don't need to do Jimmy again. No.
Yeah,
we don't need to do that.
We need to feed that. He coined the phrase the spiritual ego.
Oh yeah,
right?
Spiritual ego. That's right. That's right.
We got you. We got you.
It's like a toasted cinnamon raisin bagel, Jimmy. You know what I mean? But fast forward another year after that, right? And we start one in Milton. There's one in Duxbury. There's 2 in New Hampshire. There's 3 in Maine. And then finally, we made the push to I recently actually stepped away down from the meeting, and the meeting's been going great, and a lot of people have stepped up.
Yeah, I gotta go check it out.
And a lot of people have really got to the point where they stepped up to bring that meeting to what it is. But we had a fundraiser last year down in Dorchester, and it was the first time that the Family Restored ever made its way down into Massachusetts. And if I recall correctly, we doubled the amount that they made in Portland, Maine, and I think it was around $115,000 we raised in one day.
Wow, that's awesome.
Drug addicts and alcoholics coming together to do a 5K. And like I said, all the money that gets donated goes to
it goes to scholarships.
Yep. And it was like $115,000.
That is unbelievable.
Like you give people in recovery a cause, motherfuckers will show up
100%.
Like because they know, you know what I mean. And you notice I said people in recovery,
right?
Like. Yeah. It's a different story. You know what I mean? Like, just because someone goes to meetings doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you're
active showing up,
yeah. but also like people that have benefited from the 12 steps, right. And their families have benefited from it. Like, I think that's amazing. I know lots of people that could use that, and I refer people to those meetings.
And then since then, there's been so many other great nonprofits that have started up.
Yeah.
Just Dennis Messon, the Guys Foundation, all these foundations that have really started to make an impact in the recovery field, because it's like, it's hard to come up with a 12-step solution-based program that doesn't cost a lot of money.
And the thing is, insurance won't pay.
Right, so this is like...
So it's like it's kind of like a catch-22. Right. Like, we know that those are the best results, but insurance won't pay for it because you do the 12 steps and you talk about God or religious. They consider it religious.
Yeah. Well, there are solutions.
And there's some programs out there that have been pretty crafty on... working it 100%. Into the mix, which I give them props. Right. You know what I mean? Because they know.
Right.
But like also, you have to, once you start accepting insurance, you have to accept a lot of other things.
Right. I mean, we could talk on this subject for the next fucking 6 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got a lot to say about it, but we won't go there right now.
No, we'll talk about your recovery.
And everybody's path's different, and I never sit there and judge anybody, and You know, I have friends that use medicated assisted treatment that I'm like, you know what, dude, like you're not shooting heroin today, like it's a good day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's a good day.
It is, but it's not the beautiful recovery that we've enjoyed.
Yeah,
100%.
And they deserve that.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's possible for them.
Right.
You know, and listen, if it's keeping you alive and it's helping you, you know what my opinion on it, and it's just my opinion, is if your end game is abstinence, do what you got to do.
Right. Yeah,
you know,
sure.
Like do what you got to do.
Don't sit there and accept, upping your dose again and again, but don't get it and and hang on to those and sell them.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's the thing. Like you're giving an addict a bunch of drugs and expect them to do the right thing with it.
Dude, if we're gonna go there, right? I got this story real quick. I'll make it short. I went down to Pennsylvania for my great uncle got like he's huge into the priesthood. Great guy, loving guy, caring guy. And we drive down to Pennsylvania. My brothers, if they're actually watching, they would fucking kill me right now. And we go down to Pennsylvania, right? My mother actually gives me money to make sure that I'm okay. She says, I don't know what you're going to do with this. I know what you're going to go do with this, but make sure you're okay, right? Hey, I didn't even make it to drive down there, right? And I'm on a screamer. And I'm sitting there at the dinner table with 200 people. My uncle's like with the cardinal, and I start puking all over my fucking table. And I am so sick.
From being sick?
From being sick. And I sat in the back of the car until we hit from Pennsylvania down to Foxborough. And just in a full suit, left the party. My brothers came and picked me up. And we drove all the way down to Foxborough. Then I left Foxborough and did what I did best. But
I have a similar story where I was working for my uncle, and I was the foreman, and we were going on a way job. You know, we were in like Pittsfield, way away, and I was okay. The night we went out there, drove the truck, his truck, out there, and I was doing my night thing, and everything was gone in the morning. I was like, no big deal. We'll get this done, and we'll go home, and everything will be good. By about 9 o'clock, I am vomiting all over the place. So weak, disoriented, lightheaded, couldn't even, you know what I mean? And I had to have the helper bring me to the hospital. That was real bad. It was like something that I think of, and I just like grit my teeth like that. It's just... nowhere I ever want to be. No. And I'm eligible to go back there. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're eligible to do this type of thing again. And how torturous those type of situations are, they can come back worse. You know 100%. What I mean? And I don't want it. I don't want it. Life is good, brother.
I hear you.
Life is good, I
mean, I was thinking about it today when I woke up, and I have my little routine when I wake up, and then go about my business and have a coffee and a cigarette, and just for that not to taste bad because of being dope sick.
I mean?
Like that taste where it's like you can't even hold it down,
right?
And you're like, I can't. And the sun was out this morning, and we're coming into nice weather, and
fantastic
things
just those little things,
right? Those
so
little
beautiful,
100%.
I can remember like getting up for work and just puking, and then like being in the bathroom floor looking at the ceiling and be like, all right, I gotta go to work. I would go to work, and I'd be sick all day, and just make it through the day, and then I'd go get my stuff. You know what I mean? That's the way I did. I never had any hustle. You know what I mean? I always had just work,
right?
And then I would get stuff and not be sick anymore. I spent a lot of time sick though.
Oh, I was such a bad drug addict. I sucked at being a drug addict. Like I just couldn't even comprehend the idea of saving one for the morning.
Oh yeah.
Never in a million years. I would sit there and I would just be like, yeah, I'll save this one for the morning. And then I would wake up at 2-3 in the morning, do what I got to do, and then it's time to go to work at 6 a.m. and you're like, why the fuck did I do that?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember because I got to the point where I was saving stuff, and I remember I saved stuff for the morning, and I had it in the bathroom, and I dumped it all over the tile floor. And it was like No, by accident.
I was like, what?
And it's like my world was coming to an end. You know what I mean? I felt like my world was coming to an end. I got on the phone, nobody's answering. I had to go to work. It was like I didn't know what to do. You know, and what a low and humiliating, position to be in life. That shit sucks.
If you look back at it, right, like you don't think that there's any time that you're going to be able to come out of that.
Exactly.
That low point that you're talking about, and I know everybody that's watching, sitting here, can identify with that, is like that position of, am I ever going to be able to even make it a day without relying on some sort of something to make me to get through the day?
It is. It's like you're standing there, you're looking at a friggin' mountain, and like sober's at the top of it, and you're like, no fucking way I'm climbing up there. I remember going to meetings high. I went to so many meetings high, and I remember one in particular where I spilled the coffee on myself, and I was like, you fucking idiot, and I just like walked out of the meeting so mad at myself, you know what I mean, like so frustrated. But like I said, I asked you if you were jealous about the cake. Like I always see people getting that 1 year cake, and I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I can't get that 1 year cake.
No, I mean, I didn't even know how to get more than a 24-hour chip. You know what I mean?
But then when I got my 1 year cake, my sponsor came up, give me a hug. I had the cake in my hand. I fucking dropped it right on the floor. I didn't get a fucking piece of it. But I got a cake, so.
Now what? You said 10 or 14?
14 years
14?
Today, yeah. Yeah, it's just, at this point, it's like, wow. I'm very grateful to still be sober, but it's like, wow, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I said, that 10 years that I shot dope, from the time I was 24 to the time I was 34, it just went by like that, you know what I mean? It was just like I blinked my eye and those years were gone. It's like all I was doing was chasing, then I might get sober for a little while in a program, a couple months, and then be back out chasing. It's such a painful and awful way to exist, you know what I mean? And now I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more grateful.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I know. Poor girl. I saw her crying.
Yeah. All right, I'm back. I know. Gifts of sobriety.
Yeah, man.
So, what did I miss?
I don't know. We're just talking about how low it was.
Dude.
Solo. Like hand solo. You don't know what they're doing.
I seen something the other day about dumpsters. And like, dude, I was breaking into the Carlton House in Brockton.
Which is
a shitty ass hotel.
Oh, okay.
Right? Breaking in at night into a room.
One, Chris?
No, not yet. And like looking at the clock, knowing when the Dunkin' Donuts down the street was closing so that I could go and raid their dumpster and get the bag of donuts.
Oh, the bag of donuts.
Yeah, dude.
I only did that
like,
once.
Dude, eating out of dumpsters.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah.
Like,
it's pretty low.
Yeah, that's pretty low. Fair to say. I'm definitely not a high bottom.
I remember I got the bag of donuts one time. When you get the bag of donuts, we got it before it made it to the dumpster, but we were just really drunk. And when you get the bag of donuts, if it's a big bag, they're all like stuffed in there together, and the weight of them mixes them all up. Brought it to my friend's apartment. We're just ripping it apart with our hands, covered. You know what I mean? Ugh. Hey, I mean, I was a heroin addict, and but before that, I did a lot of drinking. You know what I mean? Did a lot of drinking, and I no doubt I would have been an alcoholic if there was nothing but alcohol available.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because there was heroin available, that became my high that I wanted, and I no longer wanted the booze.
So you end up, going through treatment yet again. What was it that made it stick this time?
That's a good question.
I mean, I got introduced to the 12 steps in the big book up in Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
And I surrounded myself for a bunch of guys that were doing the right thing, and then, like I said, I relapsed, and there was a lot of like lying and dishonesty going on. So I didn't expect long-term sobriety out of that stint. You know?
Yeah, because it's
for someone
you weren't practicing
right.
the principles in all your affairs.
Right.
You know, like, all right, I'm going to do this. And it was fair to say it was probably ego, probably pride.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I, like, started a meeting. I thought I was grabbing all these small. And realistically, the more that I thought I was doing right, the further away from God I was going, if that makes any sense.
Oh,
So the more sponsees, the more meetings, because
your ego grew. Your spiritual
but
ego.
Like, here's the sickest part about it, is I thought I was doing well.
Oh, of course.
So now I'm doing all these things, and it's like intertwining in the fact that, like, well, you're doing recovery, but like it was the farthest thing from fucking recovery. You know what I mean? It was to do all these things to get validation, to seek validation, and and one thing, I have a good, like, I'm gonna call him a mentor of mine, and one thing he always says to me is, he's like, Mitch, like, you just need to continue to learn how to be another guy in AA. That's it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just
like,
another bozo on the bus.
I loved that saying when I first come around.
Like, because, like, it's hard for that better than shit to go away.
Right.
Well, I think it's the underneath that is the underlying cause is the fact that we don't think we're good enough.
Right. Absolutely.
We don't think we're all right already.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
We're not enough, so I got to make it look like I'm enough.
Right.
That's right.
Or more than enough.
Or I got to do enough, do all these things so I can be all right.
Right.
Yeah.
When we're already all right.
Right.
As ourselves, as just human beings.
Yeah.
And I think a big part to do with that is finally seeing who you really are. And you're not used to that.
Once you realize who your authentic self is,
right.
and that this, this is a shout out to Fitzy. Like, once you realize that what you're searching for in a higher power you already have, like we've just buried it and cluttered it and covered it up for so long. Like, once you realize, like,
your connection with a higher power is already inside of you.
Right.
That's
We already have that connection.
That's
right. It's just we've, like, just fucked it up for so long.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mikey Gavoni just shared something on his group that was, a conscious continued to develop our conscious contact with God. He said, well, something about that we are not separate from God, but you know what? Bringing that consciousness is what it says.
Waking
conscious
up.
contact.
You got to wake the fuck up.
Yeah. Realize that you're all right. You're in contact with your higher power already.
Yeah.
You're just clouding it up.
Yeah. So we're saying conscious contact, so that you have that subconscious contact all the time.
It's already
and
there.
now it's bringing it to the forefront.
That's right.
And nurturing it and
nurturing it.
And it's a practice. Like,
That's
the more we do it, the better it's going to be.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I seen over in Holbrook, and I had seen it before. I actually saved a picture of it. It said prayer, the original wireless connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I say it to people all the time. If you're not praying, you're not staying. Like, usually that's the first thing to go. You stop asking your higher power for help, and then meetings start falling off, and
But I mean, here's the kicker with all this, though, right? This is what I've come to realize is the longer you stay sober, the harder it is to stay sober, and the more you have to adapt to your lifestyle.
Oh, it's ever changing.
You know what I mean?
It's
like,
ever changing.
I put it like this: when you're in a program and you don't have to be up till 9 o'clock, right? It's easy to go hit your knees and go pray and meditate. How about when you have to be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Trust and believe, bro. That's
so. Like,
it's
what
not
do you
always
do? So
the
how do you
first
adapt
thing.
to that? How do you continue? You got to continue to keep finding these ways in order to continue to build your spiritual life, and like I used to always say this, and you can call me stupid, you can call me whatever you want. I don't really give a fuck. Is my prayer life in the morning looks like me turning down the radio in my car, lighting a cigarette, and just driving into work and talking and doing my thing and having a little me time. And because you know what, like, without even that little glimpse of what I like to say is like my quiet time in the morning, like I'm fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you may not call that like, oh, well, that's, you don't hit your knees. You don't. Well, listen, like, you know, most of the time, if I have to be to work early, I'm not going to sit there and wake up 45 minutes before and go through my routine. Like, through the years of staying sober, like, I have to continuously try to seek out a power greater than myself. And, like, that's how I'm seeking mine out and moving forward and adapting and changing and bobbing and weaving, and you know what I mean?
Because you get into a routine,
right?
So yes, when you're in routine, that's easy to accomplish.
Right.
Roll out of bed, hit your knees.
Right.
But then when they say, "Hey, we need you in 2 hours early," or "We need you to work tonight," or you know what I mean, life changes, so you need to adapt.
Right.
You know,
I have always hit my knees. I hit my knees. Not right before I leave. Right before I leave the house. It doesn't have to be a long.
I try to. I can't say I have.
Yeah, come on.
You know, no fucking way.
It doesn't have to be a long, drawn out thing with me. I just, as long as it's honest.
Well, I mean, I think this is what the people, like most people, have a misconstrued. That's not a real word, but it sounded good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is that, dude? It's your own fucking recovery. It can look whatever the way
That's
that
right.
you want.
Whatever works
That's
for
the
you.
best part about this.
Right,
thing.
right.
You know what I mean? People have like this idea in their head that you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. It's all right. Like you have to follow a certain set of principles, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to, try to be a good person. You can fall short, but it's your own recovery.
Well, I think there's a distinction that we should be made a little bit. An early recovery is different from long-term
sobriety.
Right. Yeah. It's different. You're in the ambulance when you're in early recovery. You know what I mean? You're still in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. You know what I mean? You gotta. That's why they say go to 90 and 90, because you're just getting your routine of thinking about recovery and realizing I'm a drug addict. I can't go drink. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're undisciplined.
Right.
And it takes certain discipline to keep this rolling.
Yeah, and you want to just do whatever it's gonna work to make you willing to not pick up that first drink of drug for a little while till your head clears. Right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because I remember when I've got sober so many times, and it wasn't until I stayed. I got the 6 months, then I went out for a few years, and then I got another 6 months and 9 months in the house, in treatment, and then after that I moved in with people in recovery, and I immersed myself in recovery. I had a get well job. Some were sicker than others. I was sicker than others.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
absolutely.
I had a get well job where I only worked 10 hours a week, and then I worked at the treatment center for 2 years. You know what I mean? And I just had to immerse myself, but that was because I was still in the ambulance in my mind. I was so afraid of going back because that shit had me so powerful over me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was but now, like, I could definitely hit a few more meetings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that we do this podcast, because I can give back and think about recovery. I can grow more spiritually.
Yeah.
All this stuff. You know what I mean?
People reach out to us. You know what I mean? I've had people message me like, I need treatment. Okay, where are you? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like this, we have one guy over in the UK that shares this. You know what I mean? That blows my mind. Like West Coast, this people watching out on the West Coast. What's it, fucking 3 in the afternoon?
Right.
What's it, 3 in the afternoon over there? You know what I mean?
I've never been over there.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy that, like, just doing this one little thing.
Yeah, they got to watch in our time, but they can listen in their time anytime.
Subscribe
at LOLTERMS.com.
Absolutely. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Play,
all that stuff.
And like I say all the time, anyone that's interested in being on this show, please message us and let us know. We've had quite a few pretty good guests. From that. We
have,
and
we're very blessed with guests.
Maybe someday we'll be able to do the whole remote thing, but like for now, we want you in the seat with us.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's better when you're in the seat, but who knows? But I think we need to invest in some better equipment before that, because we don't want it sounding crappy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We'll see.
So what's a day in the life of Mitch today?
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple. You know what I mean? It's absolutely simple. I love what I do for a career. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I've been with the same company a couple of years now.
Yeah, you're in the trades, just like us blue collar dudes.
Yep. And I wake up. I go to work. I have a beautiful daughter. You know what I mean? Charlotte May. She's my everything. She's the most important
Charlotte May. That's
the most important
name,
thing in my life. And like, let me tell you, man, like it hasn't always been its easiest moments for someone like myself, dude. I am a selfish son of a bitch to the core.
I had
no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how to react, how not to react.
Selfishness, self-centeredness. We must be rid of it,
right?
Or it kills us.
And you know, slowly but surely, like I'm trying to get a grasp of all that.
But we got some solid dudes in our lives that are dads.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I didn't know how to be a dad. I was a dad twice over when I got here, and I didn't know how to be a dad.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
And it was like hard for me to be, like, because I wanted to be, and like, you know what I mean, and like I said I wanted to be, but I think that I had to go through a little ups and downs and figure things out to really put me in my life and what my priorities in my life should look like right now,
and like trust and believe, like your kids will definitely change your.
Oh yeah,
change your life
100%.
You know, everything, like it changes every aspect of
it
your
does
life. Every aspect,
and in all positive ways. Because it's like, I don't know, man, like if you listen, like if you would have, I look at my daughter now and I'm like, you know, how should I react, how should I do things, because like I want to be an example to her, not like a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Just let the love ooze.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that I've always not reacted.
Right.
Because trust and believe.
Oh.
You know, I'm human.
Yeah.
But like, luckily, like you said, we have people in our lives that like, I mean, I can think of 3 people off the top of my head right now that I can call and really teach me how to, like, not teach me, but walk me through some scenarios that I may not know how to walk through, and things like that. And that's the best part about, you know, what you guys do here, what we do here, what AA brings to the table. You know, it's you know, if you're new and you're starting to catch on to this thing, like, you know, it took me, you know, a little over, you know, I'm gonna say a little over like a year and a half to realize that it's so much not about drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, no, that's
so much about.
It's a symptom.
It is. It's so much just like about, like, listen, you're a shit person, and you need to stop being a shit person.
Oh, well.
So you need to
behaviors of shit.
Yeah, like exactly.
And
it's like, and you need to make some changes, and it talks about that psychic change in the big book, and it talks about, like, you know, what we do in order to keep this mentality and to keep moving forward, and it's
but
been a blessing.
It also says we fall short,
right?
You know what I mean? Like we're human. Like if shit happens, like we can't beat ourselves up about it,
right?
You know, but we have ways of you know, fixing the shit that we
dude, and it's hard not to beat yourself up. It's so hard not to beat yourself up. Like, absolutely. Like I do that a lot, man, and it's something that
that's a practice,
right?
That'll change.
You know, and it's important to, like, finally understand who you are. I feel like and accept who you are and be okay with yourself, and you know, like that's why I got sober, man. I got sober to find out, you know, if you would have asked me such a simple question while I was, you know, a couple years back and said, what do you like, Mitch? Yeah. I couldn't fucking answer that. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would sit there and I would have no... I don't know. I couldn't... Perks. Yeah. Right? IV fucking cocaine use. Yeah. Sign me up.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy. And, like, you know, you can definitely achieve anything around here.
Right.
Absolutely. Anything. You know, a lot of people are stopped by fear. You know, like this... We got plans of this going, you know, getting a lot bigger than what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, and I'm putting that shit out into the universe. That shit's happening. You know what I mean? Happening. Like, I'm manifesting shit. You know what I mean? Life is gonna change. Right. Yep. and there's no reason why I can't.
Yeah, and
except for me,
right? And that's what you guys
me.
put out, and you know, like you said, what's your life look like? Like mine is like I've made some changes in the past couple months where I've just looked for simpler. That's what I've looked for. I looked for simpler. I looked for more peace. I've looked for
that's important.
Like early recovery circles like this, long-term sobriety,
right? You know,
small.
Like how I want to designate my time. I think that was like a huge thing with me getting sober is where am I going to put my efforts? Where am I going to put my time management and how I'm going to spend my time? Because you know what, like for someone like myself, it was like I'm lucky to be where I am today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like you realize that time is your most valuable thing that you have.
You know.
Yes.
The most valuable thing out of anything, everything I have is my time.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Time is slip sliding away.
Yeah. So.
And time is slip sliding away on us.
So we got a family restored. I tagged the foundation in the post. You know, if anyone's looking for, you know, if you're not an addict and you're the parents of an addict, definitely look into the organization. They do great things. There's a few meetings around here. You know, you can get better just like your kids. You know, so if you've seen a change in them and you want to feel better yourself, definitely look into it.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Thank you for doing that, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
That's good stuff.
100%, guys. And,
good stuff.
I appreciate you having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on.
LOLTERMS.com. Please subscribe to the audio podcast. It sounds great.
Yes.
Hey, and let's discuss the elephant in the room. I haven't put out one yet this week. And I'm sorry, but I messed it up, and I got to redo it, so it's coming out.
It's all good. It's your 14-year anniversary. We'll give you a mulligan on that one.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
The end thing was there this week. It hasn't been on there, remember?